Let's explore student self-assessment in Chapter 5. In order to get you ready to change your classroom student self-assessment practices, we'll look at the what, why, and how of increasing this phenomenal tool. What is student self-assessment? Student self-assessment is anything in which students understand what a high-quality final product looks like, or what mastery of content includes, and can check their progress along the way. It allows students to determine when and how well they have met an objective. In essence, it takes the mystery out of the grade and puts power in the hands of students. So why increase student self-assessment? Well, trauma-affected students struggle when expectations are unclear. They respond well with predictability and consistency. These students also struggle with time management, and task completion. Lastly, students who have experienced trauma in their lives crave control. By providing opportunities for self-assessment, teachers mitigate these impacts of trauma by making expectations clear up front, creating a sense of predictability as these expectations don't change, helping students build time and task management skills by helping them plan how they will get from point A to point B, and giving them all the control over how they get there. So here's how. Take a look at your upcoming assessment. Look ahead and consider ways you can teach students what counts as quality so they can make judgments about their work. Here are some ideas. Have them look up several versions of the final product you're asking them to create to compare them and determine what makes a good one good. Give them a checklist to take a good hard look at their work. Does it measure up to the expectation? Simply show them the objective. Have them interpret it so you know they understand it, and help them judge their skills and knowledge in comparison to the objective. This may require you and your students to break the objective down into its requisite parts. Continue to open all your assessments to student contribution. When they know what is expected, they will have an easier time achieving it. One important key here is that sometimes you'll have to sit one-on-one and do conferencing with your students, because this isn't something they're going to be able to do independently without some help. They're not going to have the tendency to sit and look and know exactly what they need to look for. They won't know how to, take a checklist and look at their work and determine, sort of judge their work against the checklist. You're going to need to help them do that, especially at first. And you could probably wean them away from needing your help, but you need to help them at first. Here's an example of one way that I increased student self-assessment. Notice how it's not very specific or clear. Student language may need refinement when developing such assessments. This lack of clarity, however, is characteristic of students being fully in charge. As the project progressed, I got to ask them to get more specific whenever they self-assessed. My students created checklists for several projects in my science class. Here is an example of a student-generated checklist. This shows how they determined they will know if they met each objective. Providing opportunities for student self-assessment assures they know what's expected. Doing so takes the mystery out of grading. As a final word in the course, consider the importance of student choice, voice, and passion, embedding social skills instruction, chunking instruction, activities, and assessments, and increasing student self-assessment. What will you do to begin incorporating what you've learned here to help your most vulnerable students?